Hi everyone, welcome to Potluck Food Talks. Today we're going to talk about Christmas.
The jolliest time of the year. Are you a Christmas guy? Do you like Christmas or?
I'm not a super crazy Christmas person, but I for sure I like Christmas Eve dinner. I think it's something really special, and there are many things that only make sense to eat at that time of the year.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's certain things like that I only like eat like once a year, I think, and that's usually around Christmas. What's it for you guys? Like what do you do? What does your family do usually?
Okay, my family. Well, traditionally in Venezuela, there is this thing called hallacas, which are like tamales in plantain leaves with like a pork stew. It's usually pork, but it could be something else. And it also has like raisins and pickles and different things. So it's quite a thing. And you only eat that for Christmas. And we would have that for sure. That was a standard. And then always like a big piece of meat. You know, it could be a pork leg or lamb or a turkey or a suckling pig, you know, like this kind of things. Goose, duck, you know?
That sounds really nice. The tamal sounds really nice with like the braised pork and like the raisins and stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious. It's kind of like a sweet, savory sort of like mix, no?
Yeah, it's called hallaca.
Hallaca.
Yeah, actually there is a lot of people that hate the raisins and the pickles inside of it, but I actually love it, man. And it's something, for me, it's really something that brings me to my childhood and something Venezuelans living abroad always crave for Christmas. There's always in any city someone who cooks them because it's very laborious to do. Like it takes 2 days to do the whole process. So you usually make very large batches and you exchange it with other families.
Oh, that's really cool. I love that idea. So like, now when you are celebrating Christmas by yourself, you like, what do you usually do?
Like, it's usually like a big piece of some kind of meat. In my case, I think that the people here in San Sebastian tend to eat fish for Christmas, like like a whole piece of a nice fish. I know this because the fishmonger is just under my apartment. And if you want to get some fish during Christmas days, it's impossible. It's all pre-ordered and sold out weeks before. But I mean, usually the way it goes is, for instance, when I'm with my family, they drop me in any large supermarket or market or something and say, get whatever you want. So I will always go to the meat section and look for something interesting, you know, like a goat or a sheep or something like that. And I will just, braise it classic style with some fruits, braise it in red wine, maybe use some, what is known as Christmas spices, like cinnamon, star anise, cardamom, those kind of things, ginger, and something like that, in that direction.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
What about you?
My family, there's like 2 parts to Christmas, right? There's Christmas Eve, which is like the main one that we kind of celebrate on the 24th. And then there's the 25th, which is Christmas Day. And so on Christmas Eve, we have the like general rule that we have something very simple because we don't really want somebody to be in the kitchen all day, like while everybody else is like around the tree and stuff. So it's like a tradition in Germany that like in some parts anyway, some families, that you have something super similar, like as simple as like sausages, like just some boiled sausages and a potato salad. That's it, Also, though, that comes from like very strict Christian customs in Germany, where like in Germany, the Christian belief like went very into the sort of like, everything very reduced and only this and only that and only bread for dinner and whatnot. But it's kind of nice. And then usually we do like, we'll probably do like a raclette,
Oh, nice.
Where we have that like little table grill with like where, these ones where you have the little pans.
Yeah.
And so we'll have like potatoes and pickles and ham and like little pickled pearl onions and stuff like that. Like it's just like a big mix. And we get like nice raclette cheese. And then everybody just sits around. It's like very easy to prepare. And everybody sits around. It's very like...
super fun. And interactive and dynamic. Yeah.
Exactly. And like a simple salad with it. And that's it. But then also there you have like a proper Christmas dinner, which usually is either duck or goose.
Yeah, I've had that in the times I've been in German family Christmas. Yeah, like duck or goose with this blue cabbage, cooked like an apple and also some clove, right? And then this knödel, which are like this bread dumplings next to it with a sauce, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So the red cabbage, which is just red cabbage, and it's like people get really like particular how to make it. For example, my dad has like a recipe where he like marinates the cabbage for like 2 days before he even cooks it and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like red cabbage, red wine, grated apple, bay leaf, and juniper and stuff like that.
You're talking about the marinade, right? The marinade of the red cabbage.
No, like when you cook it, you know?
Okay.
Like you basically cook it in. It's basically like a savory cabbage jam. Like it's almost cooked down until it's like almost like a jam.
Yeah. It usually has like this, exactly, like apples and sweet components to it. Yeah.
It's like sweet and sour. It's sweet and sour. Yeah. And savory.
Exactly. Yeah. It's something for me, that's as German as it gets in my perception.
For me too. Yeah, for me too. But it's like something that you only eat at Christmas, you know? Like really. I mean, and then the dumplings that you talked about, they're called Serviettenknödel, which means napkin dumplings, right? Because it's made from leftover bread, and then you make the mixture, you soak the bread in milk, and you add some like sauteed onions and some eggs and stuff, and you make this mixture like a stuffing. And then traditionally you would take linen napkins and put the mix in, and as like a big sausage, and roll it up and make like a torchon, and then poach it in the napkin. And then once it's done, take it out of the napkin and slice it. Yeah,
so you slice it like bread, right? And you could even after that grill it to add it some crust and butter, right?
Oh yeah, so that's usually the thing that people do. They make like a little bit too much Serviettenknödel, and then you have it one day just like poached, and then the next day all the leftover slices you fry it in butter until it's really crispy. And it's super nice to have like a Christmas fry up where you just like have a big pan, you add like pieces of this like bread stuffing dumpling, and then you just crack eggs and potatoes in it stuff and just make like a big, like what in South Germany you would call it like a geröste, you know, like just roast everything together, you know, and it's super, super nice.
Do you have any like memorable, like a memorable elaboration you've done for a Christmas night or an anecdote or something?
I mean, I'm always like every Christmas is kind of the same. Like my family, like carefully approaches me and says, "I'm sure you don't want to cook at Christmas, right? You cook like all year round. So you don't really want to cook, do you?" And I'm like, "No, I can cook. That's okay." And they're like, "Oh yeah, well, great. Here's the kitchen. There's 15 people coming." And yeah, it's like pretty much always the same. I always like go, and it's very nice. Like when I spent the Christmas in Tenerife with my mom, which is very nice, or I'm like in like Southwest Germany, where there's like lots of medieval towns and loads of markets, and it's like a very cozy mood. So I go and like just like go to markets and buy stuff, right? But when I go to Tenerife, it's a little bit different, because on Tenerife my family's German, but it's very hard to get like certain products there. So for example, this year, my mom, you know, like the first thing I wrote "Hey, I've bought my tickets. I'm coming this and this day." And she was like, "Oh, great. I'm super happy that you're coming." And then like 5 minutes later, she sent me a message. She was like, "You think there's any way that you could fit a whole goose in your suitcase?" And I was like, "How is that supposed to work?" And she's like, "I don't know, but like,
just asking."
Yeah, just asking. And I was like, well, I'm always up for these sorts of shenanigans, like I can see what I can do. And she was like, "Why, is it illegal?" And I was like, "It's definitely illegal to transport meat on a plane from one country." And she was like, "Oh, then maybe you shouldn't do it." And then 10 minutes later, she wrote me and she was like, "Maybe you can just buy like the thighs and just get those and like vac seal them." And yeah.
That's funny. Well, I have a memory of, it was just before COVID, 2020, that Christmas or 2019, I was visiting my sister that lives in Philadelphia. So they dropped me. It was also my brother, my sister-in-law. Like it was like a nice group. So they dropped me in Whole Foods, like buy whatever you need. So, and I think that the interesting dish that I did on that occasion was roasted pumpkin salad. So I found like a really nice pumpkin. I cut it into cubes and roasted it. And I remember I add lots of stuff to that salad. There was like this caramelized pecan nuts that you could buy already, like garrapiñadas, with this fine sugar coat around. My sister had in her basement 1,000-year-old Moroccan lemons, like this, the salt-cured lemons. And these were like really nice. That they had to be there like for many years. So like those julienne, there were also like candied cherries. I remember the dressing was something with yogurt and maple syrup. It was like all these Christmas flavors around a roasted pumpkin salad. And I remember that one, everybody was like, what is this? It was super, super good. But besides that, as I said, mostly is a nice piece of meat, properly braised with a nice sauce. And then there's not much more to it, like some potatoes on butter, nice wine, and that's it. Well, also something that I think is really special are what I call Christmas spices. For instance, the mixer for Lebkuchen in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Or for pumpkin pie in America, like it's usually cinnamon, Jamaica pepper, like these different sweet spices, which is not exactly correct to call them sweet, but you know what I mean? And yeah, I think that's also something very Christmassy.
Yeah, for sure. Like I always look forward to like also being like cooking with these spices, like putting a cinnamon stick in something. That's amazing, And like I think autumn and winter is like, especially autumn is my favorite time to cook.
Yeah, I agree.
Oven braised stuff, and like I love the
mushroom season.
Yeah. My grandma used to make something really crazy. My grandma is an amazing cook, and she used to have this recipe that everybody always. Actually, she has two recipes that people always ask her for. One is a Christmas salad. It's just called Christmas salad because she makes it at Christmas. It's like a beetroot salad with like smoked mackerel and horseradish and stuff like that. And loads of dill with like a creme fraiche dressing. It's just like very nice Eastern German style, But she used to make this thing that she would call Indian stuffed duck. So like Indian as in India, not, Native Americans, obviously. And I don't think it's very Indian at all. Like the Indian parts of it are like the spices and the fact that into the stuffing that she puts in the duck, she puts hard-boiled eggs that get chopped up.
Oh, nice.
Which sounds really weird, but actually like Parsi cooking and stuff like that, they use a lot of hard-boiled eggs.
No, I've seen that a lot, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And she would put also raisins in the mixture and like sultanas. And I need to look at the recipe, but I think like orange zest also. And it's like a very elaborate recipe. And she stuffs this duck and then roasts the whole duck. So the duck gets flavored with all these things. And then you eat the stuffing and the duck like, on the same plate separately. And it's like a super crazy recipe that like when you read it, it's like the first time I read it, I was like, what is this? Like what the hell's going on? But then you eat, like she makes it and you're like, man, this is absolutely delicious. Like
that's super crazy, man. You just reminded me like the sister I have in Philadelphia, she has like all the family treasures because my grandmother used to live in Philadelphia for a long time, my German grandmother. So she has all these old books and pictures and these kind of things. And like my grandmother, they lived in India because they were like Lutheran missionaries. And there was this recipe book with Indian recipes from my grandmother, like chutneys and things. Super interesting, man. All handwritten. Oh, nice. Yeah, man.
Those things, they really are treasures, like they really, really are treasures. And if you have something like that, like keep it and treasure it.
That's it for this week's episode of Potluck Food Talks. If you like what we're doing, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok as Potluck Food Talks. The show airs every Monday.